so we are into play. Quick lead jam status going to Team Roller United. They're going to go ahead and call it off, so we're going to have a 0-0 to start this one out. Neither team scoring the point there. So we're just going to reset this again after we had two jammers come out, Valkyrie and Impact play. No score, just because it was a bit of a double release, so we're not going to be worried too much about that. So you guys didn't miss anything if you kind of came in on the feed a little bit late. It got started a little bit late on it. We'll hopefully get to the teams here in just a minute as we are quickly into play and quickly into lead already. That is going to be Team Ontario. That is number 12, Stevie Stitches. Stevie had a good game earlier today. Both these teams played really hard-fought, tough games. Roller United came in here after a tough loss to Ohio, and Ontario came in a tough loss to what right now looks to be the Cinderella team in Philippines. True has their jammer released now, so we are both on the scoring opportunity. We're going to see what Stevie Stitches and Stevie Stitches decide to go ahead and call it off. Sarah's Hassan helping to force that into the jam. So now we have some points on the board. Well, and it just disappeared in our scoreboard, so that's 4 points going for Ontario. I am Spear the House. Hopefully I don't biff this up for you too much today. We have some odd angles here, both at the dais and at the camera, so bear with us. We're going to try to get in the flow of this game. Already a quick, fast-paced game start, two jams in. I think we were talking earlier that these teams have the ability to really just kind of rack jams up so we can get deep into this first half with the multiple jams. After we have a pile up there in the straightaway, let's see who's going to come out free. It's going to be Ontario taking the lead. That is number 1070. You're going to have a hard time seeing that. Pyromaniac is our lead jammer. So just a reminder, Team Roller United are out there in the black jerseys, in the white jerseys in Ontario. Now we have our first star pass. That is going to 0734 Higgs Bosom. So we're going to have another 0-4 on that one. So it's going to be 0-8 as we start this now, 3 jams in. So thank you for joining us today. We're had a long day of Derby thus far. We're going to have a long day of Derby again tomorrow. Of course, we're going to wrap it all up on Sunday. So hopefully if you haven't been able to get here today on Friday, being a work day for a lot of people, you'll be able to catch us tomorrow and hopefully be here again for Sunday for the championship. So we are back into the mix now. Stow out there for Roller United. Sorry, not sorry, out there representing Ontario. Of course, we have not really been getting too far out of the mix here in this straightaway. They've been really locking it in tight, not playing too fast. I mean, it's kind of a frenetic pace, but not really speedy packs moving forward. A lot of good connectivity out of these defensive groups. It's a really surprising thing, especially since these teams don't get to actually practice a lot together. So they come out here and they kind of connect well. So you would think good communication is the key, and now it's going to be true. Have an opportunity for their lead jam in this one. Stow being able to get out. No, and we have a forearm call, so not only is it going to be a lead jam, but it will also be a power jam as we come into this. So going to take a seat. Well, I mean, I guess it's one of those, if you can do it, I can do it as well, too. So this is going to end up losing the lead as both jammers now have taken a penalty in this jam. So, sorry, not sorry, now getting back has not made it out on the initial. Stow, of course, has. So Stow will have the opportunity to score points. Probably took some points to the bench. I just saw a double tap going to the Ontario blockers. So they're going to be gone for the full minute. So potentially that could end up helping Stow out here once they get back up. Now back out on the track. Coming here in the second straightaway. Both teams trying to lock down these jammers. Final jammer to beat. And we have it full 4 on the board now. Roller United now has points under their name. So continuing to see, we have a star pass now coming for Solgood. I didn't see too many star passes out of Ontario, even though it's a close game with Philippines. They both were kind of going at it together. So Solgood potentially going to be able to get points there at the end. And does. That's 3 points on the board. Every pivot turned jammer's dream is to make them pay. So it's 8 points going up for team, for the Roller United team. So now it's 3 for Ontario, so Ontario maintaining that lead now. So we're sitting here with 6 teams separated. It does appear that, yes, 1 is in the box for Ontario, so a blocker advantage going to TRU. A little bit of a zigzag right now, trying to see if we can, find that little space, good sideways block, keeping the leverage edge. But the legs don't lie. There they are. They can get around the outside. That is going to be a lead jammer status. Once again, going for TRU. That was our jammer who started the game, impact play. So Pepe now really making an easy go of it after some tough go to get the lead. We now have points. So TRU now with the advantage and the lead in this jam, because we are now sitting in the power jam. Because Valkyrie having to wait it out, finally coming back into play now. So that's now 2 jams in a row that Ontario has taken the penalty against their jam. And of course, wow, okay, that was really shocking. Actually, what would have probably been a little bit of a forearm there actually turned into just an aid to go forward into the thing and quickly trying to get back to score some points to force a call. And it does come as Trans Roller United decides to go ahead and finish it off, keep the points they've got, not go long with this one. So I think it's just playing true to what we saw earlier today, where it's like just get a lot of jams in this game, take your points, take it back to the bench, don't surrender anything to the opposing team. So 16-11 is where we stand, coming into jam number 6. Sarah Sasson taking the line now for your TRU team, but it is not Sarah Sasson, it's Stevie Stitches that is now going to be popping out of the front, taking that lead. So right now 6 jams in, 3 leads per team. 2 jammer penalties going for, and we have contact there. So we're going to be having, I believe that should be an entry timeout as contact, so blood on the track. So we're going to make sure we get all good over to our folks to check. Yeah, so we do have blood on track, so that is the stoppage of play. We have to get the people out here to properly clean that for the safety of all skaters out here. So we're going to freeze that one at 0s. So 16-11 is where we stand. We are just slightly under 23 minutes left to go in this first. It's all good over there getting checked out by our medical team as they are checking out the track to make sure we get all biologics cleaned and nobody is having a problem out here. So yeah, real quick while we have it. So Trans Roller United, their roster is 00 Coda, 0734 Higgs Bosom, 143 Nat Maybe, 182 Link, 21 Trixie Pixie, Shiv is sitting over on the bench as a coach, 247 Donna Noble, 262 Singular They Them, number 27 Sarah Sasson, 420 Harry Jane, 44 Mixter Rogers Thaberhood, 45 Rink Floyd, 66 Booty Fat, 67 Huntress, 8020 Beef, and number 8008 Gorshak, followed by 923 Stow. That is your skaters playing for Trans Roller United in this game. And it looks like we still have an opportunity now to tell you Team Ontario is rostered with 042 Riders Block, number 10 Valkyrie, number 12 Stevie Stitches, 1070 Pyromaniac, 1701 Pip, 1223 Daisy Tripper, 20 Hayden McGrath, 27 Sawgood, who we just saw go off play, number 31 Hollyween, 316 Firewalker, 413 Car on Fire, 505 Sorry Not Sorry, 7 Redheaded for Trouble, and number 81 The Dictator. So I'm starting to see players back out there on the track, so potentially we are going to be getting back into play. All has been taken care of. Hopefully Sawgood will be fine over there as now the whistle has blown. Already mixing it back up into the track. Bobby's hitting the deck, coming back up. Kind of having a mishmash change of place on this, and it looks like Ontario. Yes, it will be Ontario with Pyromaniac grabbing that lead status. So both teams right now just trading off the leads. Oh, and a quick chip there from Pyromaniac, playing a little self-defense there. Drew trying to hold it out right now. Ooh, close to the hands being together there between Rink Floyd and Harry Jane. They did not get penalty or able to block them out before any contact came to a link. once again, still shaking the bacon right here, holding it down. And we have a start pass going out. That's 0734, who is Higgs Bosom, who is now going to end that jam as the jammer for Rollers United. So 4 points for Ontario. So 16-15 is where we're going to be. So I think this is going to be kind of one of those games where it's going to be a back and forth. I'm going to say going to be one more time just to make it triple. Did anything show up? No, 3 times was not the charm. So it's going to be Stow and Sorry Not Sorry lining up for their respective squads. TRU taking the front, baited to the back, and decided they want to set their defense at the front. So digging it tough, a little bit of offense being run for Ontario. I think it's one of the first times we've seen that, but it did not pay off for them because it is going to be Stow coming out first with the lead for True, but we do have a shadow coming up quick, so we're going to wonder, we're going to speed this up. Yeah, Ontario trying to get it a little further into the corner. And a little step over. Do we have it clean? Are we going to reset and recycle? Was that the 4? We'll find out here in just a minute when the hands go up. We're going to continue to play this out. This is not going to be a hit it and quit it kind of jam. Going to let Sorry Not Sorry continue to try and see if they can push through to the front. Good defense set up here now. Or pivot. Rocking and locking really well. Driving and pushing, making sure nobody's getting to the front. Trixie Pixie holding down here. We're now joined by Friends as Huntress leading the front of this pack here, coming into the second straightaway. Meanwhile, on the backside of all this action, we have Ontario setting themselves up. Both teams surrendering a potential blocker to bridge this. Good, strong defensive struggle coming here now. Oh, nope, and thought Sorry Not Sorry took a step out. Did not stay that foot inside, so able to push through the front and get that. So now it's kind of going against TRU. Decided to run this one long, and they surrendered the extra jam out. But we'll see what Stow got, because there were a lot of bodies moving. So it will be 3 on that last jam, so 4 going to Ontario. So the advantage coming there for Ontario by 1. And that 1 point was the difference to make this a tied game now. So far, I've really enjoyed the fact that both these teams are playing tough defense, a little bit of a frenetic pace, so it's high energy. You know, it makes the crowd here, the crowd we do have, be able to get into it. You know, be able to find a little bit more passion for the play that's going on as we have impact play and Valkyrie now taking an impact play, able to dance to the outside quickly, getting that lead jam status. Meanwhile, Valkyrie locked into the back, tried to make a run to the outside as well, gets spilled. So now the deep recycle is going to give impact play an opportunity to kind of almost have this as a, you know, solo jam right now, because Valkyrie's still on the initial. And True playing the offense. The offense does work. Gets the points through. Still on the initial is Valkyrie. So the True defense really locking it up and locking tight, trying to get around. Even some offense now coming in for Ontario. Both teams kind of with the potential for a split pack here should they get disengaged, which means all skaters are out in the complete. That's a harder one to get by. Toe stops on the outside. Coming there for impact play. Once again, both teams trading off lead jam status, but this is kind of one of our nice long runs here. 8 has been our top point total, and that's twice now going for Trans Rollers United. As Valkyrie finally breaks the pack and goes ahead and calls off the jam. We're going to see what the final total is on that last pass. I'm seeing the hand. Oh, nope. I thought we might have gotten an extra number in on there and crossed the 8th barrier so far in this game, but we did not. So 27-19 is where we are going to enter this next jam. Both teams playing really solid defense. I'm really liking the mobility of these packs to stay connected and, you know, keep their bodies on these jammers. So we just kind of scrummed it up there. Both were separated. A little frenemy fire there as a low block taking out a fellow player, but it's going to be, well, I was about to say we were going to have a lead established at the front, but that is not so, as Sarah Sasson is now heading off to the penalty box. Power jam opportunity coming for Stevie Stitches and Ontario. So we have a lead in power jam, so now both teams, we're 10 jams in, 5 leads apiece. It's going to be 2 penalties per teams per their jamming rotation. Stevie Stitch is now trying to see if they can get back out there and break out and become the leaders of this game. Ontario had the lead at 8-0 in Jam 3, but it has been it's been Trans Rollers United since then. So now Sarah Sanson back out there on the track. Going to stalk that defense. Quick work to come through. Almost wishes that was the first opportunity to come out of the pack and get the easy pass. We're going to see if Ontario is going to run this long or not. They did that a few times, and no, had the think there was going to be, just looking to get those extra points in the back and calls off the jam. So now that is our largest jam of the game at 11. That tells you how tight this defense is being played here. You know, hopefully those listening to this understands, you know, when you have these amalgamation teams, the coordination of these players, you know, to, like, okay, do I block like you block? Do we move forward, reform, do all these things the way you do? You know, between the various teams, it's always impressive when you see the defenses really get connected. And even secondarily impressive when you can see them shift from defense to offense and back really well. So far, both these teams have been trying to display that continuity and that capability. So now coming in, Higgs Bosom going to get the opportunity to take the natural jam start, but it will be Ontario and Pyromaniac getting the lead. So Higgs Bosom now, star in hand, looking to make the potential pass. Decided to just keep it in, able to make it to the outside, a little hop step, kind of riding a blocker just a little bit. With the contact, more the blocker pushing them forward on the contact. And Pyromaniac making the twist and turn on the inside, decides I'm trapped, so let's call this one off before Higgs can get back there and scrape up a few points. So we're going to get 4 on that one now. So yeah, back and forth. I mean, the score shows it. We have a tight score. Both teams are trading out lead jam opportunities. So we're going to continue to have this game, and hopefully it stays this way. You know, both teams have already played a game today. They were fortunate enough to play them a little bit earlier, so they should have had time to, you know, potentially get a rest. They've done some self-care to get back out here on the track. You know, to bring us this game that's already being, in the early goings, a pretty impressive, you know, we're going to see, almost, but, nope, decided to go ahead and take the no pass there. Did Impact Play, so Impact Play surrendered the opportunity at that juncture to be able to get lead, but I did not see if they were able to reestablish it. Pass cleanly on the one. Oh, beautiful spin out of that contact there coming late from Hayden McGrath. So, nope, was not able to reset and recalibrate around that one blocker, so we are going to have, well, it really doesn't matter because now Valkyrie is going off to the penalty box for a track cut. So this will be a 0 lead, a no lead jam, so 2 minutes will be the day. But we still have a power opportunity coming from Impact Play. So that decision by Impact Play, yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, if they have the stamina now to finish out this jam for the full 2 minutes. So right now, 4 points on, just 3 points separates the two teams. Impact Play has an opportunity to break that out, so 4 more points back here. So should be seeing the lead change now, and there it goes for Trans Rollers United. And we've now freed, so we have, what a quick step again coming there from Valkyrie. So once again, Valkyrie now able to come in here and put some points onto the board. So tie game, so it's going to come, well, I mean, hey, you know, I guess that rest did some good there because that was a quick spin on the inside, able to keep that foot from trailing across that line to get those 4 points. Once again, just coming in and just muscling into play. Oh, taking a hard shot there from 00 Coda to bury him back to the inside, having to reset. That helped out Impact Play. So now the 2 minutes comes to the end, and wow, that I'm going to wait to make sure there were not extra points put on the board. Nope, there it is. It's 7 for Ontario, 16 for TRU. Now that is our highest jam of the game, superseding the 11 2 jams ago by Ontario. But 43-41, I hope you are freshly hydrated at home. You don't need to take a bathroom break before we get to our intermission because you don't want want to miss what's going on here. This has been fabulous roller derby thus far. So here we go. Singular they, them, Stevie Stitches. Those are our jammers, and it will be Stevie Stitches able to grab the lead. Like I said, we are just trading leads back and forth, back and forth. So singular they, them, they're running kind of a deeper rotation now for Trans Roller United. They're able to get a number of different jammers into the mix. You know, in early goings, it could pay the difference in seeing who has the hot hand come the second half. What's the jammer they can trust to come in here and, you know, close this out? Does appear we now have had a Star Pass. It was my understanding that Star Pass wasn't necessarily Trans Rollers United friend in the first game earlier today, but we're seeing how it's going to play out. This is now the third time they have deployed this, and the first two times actually served well, able to get the jams called off rather quickly. All of them going to 0734 Higgs bosom. But, oh, so one of our OPRs lost their front trucks. Trucks, not a wheel, the entire truck came off. And Stevie Stitches taking a swing to the inside, took the step out, decides to go ahead and call off the jam instead of trying to reset and give Higgs the opportunity to score some points there, and it will be Trans Rollers United taking a timeout. So hopefully I'm not boring you to death. Hopefully I'm keeping you up to date on what's going on, you know, with some of the, you know, kind of a harder angle to see from what I understand on the feed. So yeah, we're, you know, it's like our producer is saying, they're kind of like going, I'll take two, then you take two, then I'll take two, then you take two, and they're kind of just going back and forth. And like I said, the score is indicative of that. We have a really good back and forth game, and man, sorry, I just finally looked at the clock. It's like, yeah, we've got almost 11 minutes left to go in this first. So yeah, that's, I mean, you know, hopefully this is kind of the game we keep going on and on. I was a little tired before we got into this one, but then now I'm blessed with the opportunity to, you know, help Sherpa you through a wonderful bout that we're seeing between Trans Roller United and Ontario. As our OPR is needs a pit crew here to help get the system back in play. But we do have alt refs, so do believe hopefully. Yep, no, I see our alt ref there now. So hey, they always tell you at alt ref to be prepared, be ready, and this is one of those moments where that happens. So Stow, sorry not sorry, getting out there into play. So we were resetting this. So it's going to be Stow's turn to come in and get the lead, and Stow's trying, really powering through there at the front, trying to drive Halloween out of the way, and is successful. Now we have a lead established. We have a Star Pass going in the other way. So Halloween, who took the hit at the end, is now our jammer for Ontario. I'm curious if Ontario, I mean, if yep, they're actually going to do it. I was wanting to see if TRU was going to allow Halloween to actually jam in this one. See what kind of metal they have, if they have the ability to do it. And right now, Halloween looks pretty darn solid as a jammer, really attacking those seams, not just locking into them, but, you know, taking the hit and bouncing back. Oh, and now we have a penalty going to Stow, so an interesting situation. They surrender the lead to the penalty, and now we have a previous pivot turn jammer as the lone jammer on the floor with a power opportunity. So let's see if Ontario can turn the offense on, and they did. Able to get the space open there for Halloween. Halloween looking really solid thus far as a jammer, and very capable. Probably one of those types of skaters who have jammed in the past and was just like, nah, I just don't feel like getting the eternal punishment anymore. Just really effectively, you know, able to come around the edges there, kind of grabbing the chin, making it look like Huntress potentially had the contact, but there was no call. The officials were right there in the middle of it. But oh well, we may have another issue where we have a skater bleeding. So that is a safety issue. So we do need to stop play to make sure that the biologics are taken care of. So that was 7 points that was gotten by Halloween. As once again, we are taking care of that. Going to probably take a look and make sure that there is nothing on the track. Contact came over here in turn number 1 as they attend to the skater. So 8:31, Ontario starting to try and stretch this lead out a little bit. GRU able to put 4 into that mix as well, so they're not necessarily going away, but you're starting to see Ontario start to stretch this out a little bit. I mean, it was just, I say that stretches out a little bit, it was just 2 jams ago, but this has now been a 19-4 differential in the last 2 jams after that 16-7 in jam number 12 that had no lead jammer. So that one was kind of, you know, you don't have a choice, just keep going out there and try and score points. So as we're tending to the skaters, to the players, looking at the floor, it's now our second time. Well, actually, we still have 2 skaters sitting over there at the medical area for Ontario. It does look like that potentially Solgood has not been able to get the nose to stop bleeding. So yeah, it's kind of hard to return to the track if you are still with the potential to infuse blood into the environment. But we have a nice little collection of skaters here at our pivot line, just kind of having a little consultation, a little talk here as we are now having our officials come over to our scorekeepers, double checking and making sure everything's okay. So hopefully you guys have been watching all day, and if not, glad to have you here now. Hopefully I'm not boring you to death. I am Speaker of the House. We have a great game thus far between Trans Rollers United and Ontario, both having played earlier this morning and both lost really tough, hard games. Trans Roller United losing to Ohio and Ontario losing to Philippines. So here we are, back to play. Stow out of the box, out onto the track. Pyromaniac out there for Ontario. Stow, no, I'm sorry, it's not Stow. We had that listed wrong on our. Stow obviously did come out of the box late, so it's going to be Impact Play, who is going to be our jammer for this one. Impact Play, so close. One hand, but then the knee tapped as well, so now I have to go with deep recycle. And this time it's also going to be Pyromaniac getting taken to the inside and having not quite as deep a recycle as both teams reform together there. But nonetheless, both jammers having to retread their steps, or retread their skates. And Impact Play able to drive through, getting that lead jam. So a little bit of contact there at the front. I mean, a little bit of connection at the front. It appeared to be a multiplayer, in my opinion, on that one. But, oh, let's see. Are we going to get... Where Jamref is looking potentially for a penalty. And I think we are unclear. So it looks like we're going to just continue to play. So, okay. I guess we're going to be going. We have a low... Oh, so it is now going to be a low block assessed. So that is now going to Impact Play after we had a little confusion on whether there was or was not a penalty. It has now been assessed. So the Ontario team in white has an opportunity for a power jam, but the Trans Rollers United blockers did not get that message. So we have no lead for the rest of this jam. Pyromaniac finally able to break free to get on the scoring run. Let's see what Ontario does with their offense. Wow, Pyromaniac just slinging that hip in sideways to just completely dislodge a true blocker. Looking to just go ahead and swing hips and get points there late as the clock was winding down, and it is 2 points onto the board. So as I'm listening to my house announcer down the way from Kent, the politician, lovely human being, just said, it's like that was just such an incredible defensive feat that we basically had 1 point per minute played in that jam. So yeah, this has been a fantastic defensive setup here. So we have both, it looks like we have both coaches, or at least both have bench representatives coming out into the middle of play, kind of talking, doing the, kind of showing the hands, like, okay, so this is what I'm talking about, this is what I saw, so this is my hands are going to put my hips, then we're going to do this. So, I mean, it's kind of I don't know if it's a great game of charades because I don't really know how many words we're using here or even what the subject matter is. I'm going to say derby at this point, but I still don't know how many words we're trying to do with our hand signals here. Obviously, it was just basically, can we just come here and talk for a minute? Oh, no, it was, I'm sorry, what made that harder was I thought it was Ontario is actually one of our bench coaches wearing white as well for our Trans Rollers United. So I saw white and black, and I thought both teams were represented out there. No, they were just having a discussion. But now we are stopping play for an official timeout to discuss some things. Because yeah, there was a lot that went on in that in that initial turn between 1 and 2 in that apex. We were sitting here in ourselves. First, we thought we saw what was potentially a multiplayer that went uncalled, which I don't like to call it officials on that or anything else, but you know, it ultimately didn't impact a lot because the jammer was able to, you know, really push through and drive them out. So, I mean, you could say good no call because, yeah, the skaters didn't really build that link with enough effort to hold back the jammer. But then when we saw it, you know, I'm going to be honest, it appeared that Pyromaniac's foot was actually extended and is what ended up tripping up impact play there on that turn. But impact play was the one given the low block. So you know, it's kind of one of those ones, it's like I said, it's weird, you know, when you get into the apex like that, the angles get kind of awful. I mean, I am literally sitting directly perpendicular to that point, so it's an easy sight line for me, so that it's kind of a little unfair on my my point on that. Because, as you know, the OPRs get it at odd angles there. You know, you kind of have to have your front OPR be far enough forward, but if they're too far forward, then, well, they're out of position, so why would they see that in the first place? And then your IPRs on the inside usually kind of get a little compacted into the turn, so their angles get a little weird as well. So after all is said and done, we had a 3-3 finally assessed on that last jam, so we're going to change that to 50 to 63. And it's going to be Sarah Sasson and Valkyrie out there in play. Sarah Sasson, of course, Valkyrie getting the lead. Sarah Sasson trying to do what they can now. Oh, great little shift and shake to open up the space there to find that inside pass. It's one of those moves that you just really kind of just a good fake out there now. I wouldn't be surprised if Valkyrie comes in and plays a little hit and run, trying to do it, but Sarah Sasson was like, nah. Oh, that time did get enough of a chip away, but they're at the back, and one lone blocker for Ontario was staying and waiting to get that contact to hopefully get some more time on that. Hayden McGrath now playing kind of the blocker pest at the back of the pack, as Trans Roller United losing one of their blocking contingent off to our penalty box. Ontario deciding to go ahead and keep running this long. So once again, we are trading off lead jams back and forth in this, but one of the big differences is that 3 times that Trans Rollers United have had the lead, they have surrendered it to penalties. So kind of eliminating that advantage they had on that one a little bit. And there were some points that were scored in those as well, so kind of, you know, both teams getting something out of it, but you always want to maintain control of every jam you're in when possible. Valkyrie really turning it on right now. This might be the moment that Ontario tries to break it open. Oh, just not quite. Really nice, good use of the hips there to kind of throw them forward. And decided to not take the long run back and just go ahead and call it off is Valkyrie, but not after putting 3 more. Nope, I'm sorry, that 3 is coming for Trans Roller United and 2 more for Ontario. So 318 is our jam totals for that one. 18 now is our highest point jam or single jam of the game.
That's our now highest scoring jam.
So yeah, that's pretty incredible now. We just literally, so at jam 12, it was 43-41 with TRU with the lead, and now we're looking at 53-81. That's the nature of this game. Just the momentum and the scoring can just turn on a dime as Stevie Stitch is racking up another lead jam status here against Higgs Bosom. Higgs Bosom has played a lot of this game as a pivot and has taken the star pass quite a few times as that pivot. I believe this is only, actually, yes, this is only the 2nd time that they have gone out there as the jammer of record from the start. So, hey, there it was. Looked to play a little bit of defense against the opposing jammer, and for whatever reason, everybody just kind of like stopped playing to block Higgs. Higgs able to find that inside path and get on the scoring opportunity, which forced the call-off coming there from Stitches. So we're 3 minutes left to go in this first half. I hope I haven't lost any of you. You know, you're staying around. You're listening to me ramble on after 8 more points onto the board for Ontario. I'm enjoying myself because this has been a fantastic game thus far, and I'm hopefully I'm translating that to you on the stream. So even if you can't really see it at a good angle, you know, you're getting the energy and the great gameplay that I'm seeing out of it right now, and it's TRU able to really come out quick at the front of that. Now going for impact play as lead jam. Like I said, they are just trading off these leads, you know, one after the other. So right now it's actually been the last few jams really pouring on, like I said, for Ontario. Looks like impact play able to keep running it out as we are, Pyromaniac is locked back there right now, still on the initial. You know, it's funny, you can have a jammer who just absolutely wrecked and rolled it. Oh, and Pyromaniac realizing, you know what? The score and the clock is in my favor, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to try and take every bit of this lead that you have impact play away. Oh, we are going full well back into the engagement zone now. So TRU is saying we are not coming forward. And so impact play back into the mix of things there. I missed if there was an actual no pack called there. Recycle, but yes, came back in front. So here we are, impact play, back into the mix. That's one of those things that I think I have to revisit that as an official. That's one of those oddball ones that I sometimes remember and sometimes forget, you know, the exact mechanics of a drawback like that where you bring them back in. I'm sure I'm going to discuss it with my head ref when I get back home and go, hey, so remind me of this again. Nevertheless, we are back into play, impact play. No pun there. Is back into it. Oh, and a forearm now going against impact play. So this is what I'm talking about. Transroller United gets the lead. They're in their scoring opportunity. Pyromaniac has been just absolutely shut down. But they lose that lead opportunity to the penalty and are not able to take full advantage of it. So that's only 7 points onto the board. Now I say, you know, it's not just the jammer alone. Of course, that great move by Pyromaniac to kill a bunch of clock to create that long drawback. So that was beneficial to Team Ontario. But also the fact that yep, and there we go. We have a power start. Yeah, we were looking at it. Kent Politician to my right on the house call was noticing that, yeah, the clock's going down. They have a power start opportunity. They can take that power start once they come back from intermission, but you know, do you want to maintain the hot hand and kind of put them on the negative going in? You know, what's going to be the more negative mental state for the opposing team? You know, if you're Ontario, is it that you came in and you punished them by having their jammer in the box and able to rip out a bunch of points to close this half out? Or is it going to be putting pressure on your opposing team to try and make something happen coming out of the half with your jammer starting in the box? You know, it just depends on where they feel that their best strength is on how to do this and where they can think, you know, it creates a negative detriment to their opposing team. It's the fun of coaching. You make the plans, your players execute them, and you hope it all comes out right. You can practice it all you want, you can train it all you want, you can get it all down in your head, right? You still have to execute. You know, I played sports for a long time and had a coach that said, you know what? If you want to execute perfectly in a game, you have to do your best to execute perfectly in practice. And once again, these teams don't get a lot of chance to practice with one another, you know, as they're just amalgamations from all over the place. I mean, I'm looking at, you know, Ontario, and I'm seeing Ottawa, Peterborough, Tri-City, Royal City, Durham, Hogtown, So I mean, it's a lot of different teams. You look over at Trans Rollers, then you have Rose, Los Alamos, River City, Windy City, Texas. And it's like I said. I mean, it's Lansing, Big Easy. So I mean, when Grand Rapids, when did these players get to actually practice together? I mean, Queen City, Naptown. These players are from all over. But I'll tell you what, I mean, this has been really great connected defenses for both these teams. I mean, we're looking at some of these games where you figure, hey, jammers just jam. They know what to do. They do what they do. They take the defense they're given. They play to it. They do what they do. They work against it. They get their leads. They get their points. Really the harder part is the connectivity of the defense is maintaining continuity to, do whatever they can to stall those jammers' game plans. And quite frankly, 60-89 right now, the score is tremendous defensive prowess from both of these teams. So, I've always enjoyed in sports, the harder thing to do is to deny somebody something rather than try to go gain something for yourself. It's so much harder because you have to kind of anticipate what they want to do, and then you have to execute your countermeasure to that. And that's a hard deal. It's like you look at everything in the world. It's like throwing a punch is easy, blocking and dodging it not as easy. So yeah, I mean, offense is always going to be the more obvious direct path to things. Defense is just it's that multi-layer, it's that onion. You got to keep going. Like when this one doesn't work, you go to the next one. When that one doesn't, you keep peeling it back until you find the core of what you got to do. So here we are. We're going to get 2 seconds back to the clock. So we are going to have the final jam here as Valkyrie is going into the mix. Of course, Impact Play still sitting in the box. As we start this one, Valkyrie able to get that lead status. Once again, trading them back and forth, back and forth. So again, the last 7 jam, it's been 4 to Transroll United, now 3 to Ontario. So, I mean, it's just, the score is kind of a little bit more stretched out in favor of Ontario. But if you just did not look at the scoreboard, which, I mean, yeah, that's stupid. We play for the score. But regardless, if you're just watching jam to jam, this has just been a tremendous effort back and forth for both teams. And huge shake and bake. Coda clearing out and sealing out the outside, getting a little help from friends there with Link. Not able to hold on long enough as Valkyrie able to just kind of pitch and move, and create the leverage and the angles to get through on that one. Now Ontario trying to run the offense again. Stacking up as we have Impact Play coming back in. The question is Valkyrie gonna keep trying as the defense is toughened up? Nope. It was one of those kind of just relax and watch everybody else relax. And Valkyrie able to just sprint forward to get that last pass and call it off. Got 12 points onto the board to finish that one out. So, yeah, well, yep. 12 points. So, 60 to 101. So, hey, we're going to all take a minute. Head to the restroom. Please come back. Hope that I didn't turn you away from wanting to listen to more Roller Derby. I'm enjoying this game. I hope you are as well. We have 9.5 minutes. Hopefully we'll get some statistical information together for you. Tell you what we're looking at as regards to gameplay and how that works out and what the scores we see. And you will return. Hey, friends. We are having a good time here today. So, yeah, if you like the stats, you like the numbers, you like the things that make this point totals in this game happen, you know, the information you have there, well, here it is right now. TRU has had 15 total penalties in that first half. 6 of those coming against their jammers, and out of those 6, 4 surrendered lead opportunities. Forearm has been the most called penalty versus TRU. For Ontario, it is 9 penalties, 3 of those coming against their jammers, and whether you say fortunate or unfortunate, none of those have actually occurred while they've had leads, so they have not surrendered. We did have 1 jam with no lead. That was jam number 12. Of course, that was a 16-7, so it was one of our higher scoring ones. Our leading scorers for TRU, that is number 218, Impact Play with 42 points, 16 of those coming courtesy of a single jam. Number 923, Stow, has 15, and the rest we have number 29, Sarah Sasson, has 3, and then the other 2 jammers who have gone out there into play, singular they, them, and also Higgs Bosom, neither having pointed yet in this bout. Of course, you know, Higgs Bosom run a couple times as a natural jammer, a few times taking the star pass. On the other side for Ontario, our leading scorer is Valkyrie with 37, 18 of those coming courtesy of a single jam, followed by Stevie Stitches with 35. We're going to have Pyromaniac with 15, Sorry Not Sorry with 7, and actually got a chance to run as the jammer for a pretty good long run. That was that jam at number 14, where once again a lead was surrendered. That is number 31, Halloween, with 7 as well. So that is how we got here from a statistical standpoint. So we still have a game left to play. We have a 41-point differential, which is absolutely shocking, you know, to tell the truth, because this game has really been well played and hard fought. So here we go. Back in the mix, Impact Play. Of course, leading jammer out there. Valkyrie also leading jammer. So what a better way to start it than your 2 top scorers, and they both release equally here. So the question is, are we going to start seeing True run and hold on to their jams? Well, I say that, and the answer is no. We're going to go ahead and just call this one off. We're going to start this one like we did the entire game, just throwing zeros up on the board and just leave our score where it is. It looked good going in the half. Let's look at it a little bit longer. So that, you know, it feels kind of anticlimactic. You come out of the play, you're thinking, okay, who's been coached up? What are the things we've done to change? We have our 2 top scorers out here, and we result in zeros. So here we go. It's going to be Sarah Sasson, Stevie Stitches out there. And it's going to be Sarah Sasson. Once again, good job. I mean, doing a great job of getting lead. It's just doing something with it once you have it. That is the real trick to this game. I mean, you always want lead, but if you're not doing anything with it, what's the point? So now we're having Stevie Stitches going ahead and playing a little defense here, trying to slow it down, knowing full well the clock is the friend to Ontario. So there we go. First points of the second half are going to be going to Trans Rollers United. So a 4-0 jam, 6-4-1-0-1. Hopefully I'm talking about your friends on the track that are playing as blockers enough. It's a little bit of a difficult angle we have over here. We are in kind of an odd spot in turn number 2 from our sight lines. I know your sight lines are coming out of turn number 3, so neither one of us have the best of the world of views on this, but hopefully I'm giving you enough information that you can mentally stand it. You build your own picture as these 2 teams are building defensive walls out here. True looking to run I was going to say a little bit of offense, but right now it looks like the pivot is just kind of hanging out a little bit, just to kind of get in the mix. It's singular they, them, looking to potentially run a little bit of offense, but also maintain the pack, now taking stacked at the front. Getting a little help there to steer back into Pyromaniac to create the defensive. Now we're switching front to back, so multiplayer going to be sending number 420, Harry Jane, off to the penalty box, which helped free up Pyromaniac to grab that lead. So once again, trading leads back and forth here as now we've had the star pass. Singular they them is now our jammer of record as Pyromaniac hits the deck right here in front of us. So yep, another star pass coming out here. Forgot to say that, you know, Higgs Bosom was our jammer of record there. Get a little caught up in the gameplay that was happening in front of me. So sorry. Well, there is the absolute lead-in of the night. I said so sorry, and now we have sorry not sorry on the track for Ontario. You'd think I planned that, but I did not. I'm not that smart. My wife will tell you. So here we go, sorry not sorry, trying to take on two blockers here at the front, putting on some tough defense as our pivot had to slide to the side, though, is Tricky Pixie. Now we have lead going to Ontario. Stow got lead earlier in this one. Stow trying to get back in here onto this run. Potentially Ontario. No, Ontario decided to go ahead and kill the clock on this one. Just going to do a hit it and quit it and just finish that one out. So wondering if we were going to start seeing a little bit of clock play getting involved with Ontario's strategy coming in this half. I know we're early in the second half, but at some point I will be curious to see when they start to make the clock their friend. So we already have impact play. Valkyrie standing in the back, kind of stalking one another just a little bit. I thought there might have been a little bit of a chip shot coming out from one of them to kind of get benefit coming into the pack. But it did not happen. Impact play getting dragged back a little bit. Now looking for two blockers to beat here. And looking to find that outside edge. Becoming the inside was Valkyrie, but it is going to be impact play who slides around to the outside. Takes the better angle than the rest of the teams. Now we have 3-2 coming into this second half for advantage, coming lead to Trans Rollers United. An unsuccessful attempt to find space on the inside with a little bit of leap. Forces the call off, no points. The foot did not come down in a position to add to the point total. So we're going to lock zeros at that, keep the score where we are, 64-106. So yeah, that first half, we ended up looking like we were going to have a pretty fast go of it there, and ended up just being 19 jams total in the first half because we slowed down some because of some full 2-minute jams that kind of changed the nature of that first half. But here we are again, coming with quick 1-2 jams, and we're actually 1-2 on the jammers now. It's going to be Sarah Assassin popping out of the front with Stevie Stitches hot on the heels. Sarah Assassin now 2 for 2 coming into this second half, taking lead. You know, Sarah Assassin didn't really put the points up in that first half, but, I mean, did a really good job of, you know, getting out there, doing some things, you know, a lot of zeros and stuff that were coming out of that. So we'll be interested to see if Sarah Assassin gets a little bit more of a run here in the second half, but it's 2-4 advantage going to Ontario on that run. Pyromaniac already lined up at the back. I do believe we are going to a slight differentiation now in the track run. Singular, they them didn't really run a lot there in that first half as a jammer. Coming back in, seeing maybe what we're going to get out of this one. Shrugging off the contact, though. Pyromaniac able to take advantage of the physics in that turn. Blockers trying to run out, unable to maintain their continuity, so Pyromaniac able to shrug them off. Oh, as now we have a penalty going against Singular they, them, so it's now a power jam opportunity coming for Ontario as well. You know, to say the cliches that you always hear in sport, this is not what Trans Rollers United were looking for to start the second half. I mean, they call them cliches because, hey, it's obvious and it's easy to say. So they were looking to get a potential track cut there on Pyromaniac, but it looked like Pyromaniac was able to get that foot back into play, lift up the outside foot to be established inside the track boundaries before any drop back was achieved. And one blocker to beat as able to do that as passing by Booty Fat to get that last 4 point. Back in out of the penalty box. Oh, really quick Singular they, them. Just, man, absolute just chopping up things on the feet there. Able to keep the body moving forward and find that space. So now also on a scoring. Nope, I was wondering if maybe we were going to have a sneaky point at the back because it looked like Pyromaniac had gotten spun a little bit. Maybe it was a little disoriented, but no, that is not. Oh, take that back. 1 point. So sticking with they them, putting on the Jets to grab one there at the end. So 67-122 is where we're coming into this one. Looking over at the penalty box, we have the pivot for TRU sitting down, being spoken to by our official right now as well. So I'm curious what that may be concerning as we come back into play now. Sorry, not sorry. Stow, our jammers. So right now it's sorry, not sorry out at the front, able to shrug off the last blocker, getting that lead jam status. So continuing to see a little bit of defense here right now. That's 3-1-6 with the back to me. Wearing the white, that's Firewalker trying to be the last line. Stow able to shrug through that contact. But sorry, not sorry, not far behind. So we're going to see here, we're going to start seeing the clock. We're going to keep running this. It looks like everybody's speeding up. Surprisingly enough, it's Transroller United speeding it up. I think potentially trying to see if they can get Ontario caught at the back to cheat out a couple of points there at the end. So now it's just a speed game. So, yep, nope. Ontario able to get all their skaters up to the front. And sorry, not sorry, coming close at the back, decides to go ahead and call it. So they got the points and to be able to run a little bit of clock time off. So any amount of time that can be shed from this clock for Ontario is a benefit. So we've kind of gotten close to a double up here-ish. I mean, technically it'd be, 134, but I don't trust that a lot of you like to do math. I mean, who really does? Put that all away when we ended school. Other than when it comes to your, bank balance. That is excellent math to be good at. So an official timeout. Saw the shoulders get touched on that one. So we already had impact play set and ready to go at the back. So we're going to have a little talk through on the inside. I'm curious as to what we are recording. It looked like we had one of our penalty trackers on the inside, our Wranglers over there coming and talk for just a hot minute real quick. So we've got that sorted. Everybody put your waters back down and let's get back into position. Or as we like to say sometimes at home, places everyone. The show is about to start. And there we go, impact play. Able to put high feet and tall steps into that inside run to get that lead. Valkyrie says, hey, you remember me? You better, because I'm coming up fast behind you. Once again, teams are rolling it out fast, and we're just going to go ahead and get the call-off coming from impact play. So we're just going to lock the score up where it is. Valkyrie did exactly what they were hoping to do, which was force the call-off. Successful once again. Every tick of the clock that goes away on this game is a benefit to Ontario. Oh, able to snag 1 point there at the back-to-back, so 68 now for Transrollers United. As we're about halfway through, Sarah Sasson and Stevie Stitches stepping out to represent their squads out there as jammers. So we've really been seeing these jammers for Transrollers United really pushing hard quickly at the front. And it pays off again for another lead jam status. So that is now 6-4 advantage going for TRU in the second half. And once again, Stitches doing just what Valkyrie did, put on the Jets and try to force the call off. I'm kind of thinking at some point here soon that Transrollers United is just going to have to own the leads they have and see what they can make of it, get the points on the board. Especially with the fast pack, you have the potential to maybe catch a few of the Ontario skaters, not able to reform and connect for a wall real quick, so able to bust through and get those points in. Hey, if you do it and plan, your team could potentially be able to put that lockdown on and maybe get a back block, maybe get some type of penalty unexpected from a fast-running jammer just trying to chase down. Then, once again, we have another lead going for, and this time, it is Higgs able to grab that lead. Higgs having a little bit of a struggle in this game, but that's now 3 in a row going for TRU. At some point, they are really going to have to kind of just own their leads. They cannot keep surrendering these opportunities to score points. While we haven't had too many jammer penalties in the second half, just one going to Transrollers United, 0 now for Ontario. And this one, I think at some point you just kind of have to see what's going to shake out. because you're running out of clock to be able to do these hit it and quit it's. You know, you're really going to have to start putting multiple passes up here on this scoreboard. So yeah, we're really low scoring the last few jams. You know, that's only 3 on that one coming in. So yeah, out of the last 4 jams, it's just 4 points apiece. So that's not really going to cut it coming in here now. I really think Trans Rollers United has to really kind of change up what they're doing. Maybe go full offense now. So yeah, I mean, like I said, they're owning the lead now. That's 4 they've had in a row. At some point, you just have to just take these. You kind of have to kind of go risk reward here. Halloween now taking the Jam Star. Of course, we've seen Halloween, you know, able to do something with it. Yeah, see, I don't know these teams personally, and I don't have the history with them, but just looking at the style of play that we're seeing from Halloween has run as Jammer before. This is not a foreign opportunity for them. So that was an excellent move on their part, you know, to be able to break out, take the lead, get in, cause the call off. So, yeah, another one, just 1 point. So in 4 lead jams now in a row, that is a total of 5 points. That cannot stand. At some point, Trans Rollers United has to just, I mean, like I said, they just have to play it. They have to play the odds. You're not going to crawl back, you know, 50 some odd points, you know, with just 1, 3, 4. It's not going to happen with 16 left to go in the game. It's going to have to start taking some chances. And they've been playing great, you know. They have been playing fantastic, and I'd like to see them really pull this one back a little bit closer, just as a fan perspective. So the impact play looked past that star, was not successful, so just go ahead and keep it in hand. So now Valkyrie, you know, able to get in there, and now see Valkyrie deciding to go ahead and call off the jam, possibly a little bit late, looking for a couple of points potentially there. Coming for TRU, I am not seeing any. Yep, I see 2 fingers go up. So yes, did able to steal some points there, but that's still 2-point advantage coming for Ontario. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't like being that person. You know, it feels like I'm being, you know, sounding kind of negative, but you know, ultimately, it's like this is a win or go home. Differentials don't matter. It's you have to have the most points at the end of it. And you're not going to have the most points at the end of it if you're only pulling out 1 and 2 at a time. Not when Ontario has had a few times where they've really thrown up at least 3 or 4 passes. And here we go. Once again, an opportunity with lead. Sarah Assassin has it, doing a great job in the second half of capturing that lead. Now the impetus comes and capturing the points. You have to get the points here. The lead means nothing if you're not getting the points. Control is all well and good. But there we go. Good battle through there at the front. Coming from Sarah Assassin against the Dictator. Right now we're just seeing, you know, just kind of patiently waiting it out is, you know, the defense. So, yeah, we had Stevie Ditches now back into there, coming into the mix quickly through. And they call off the jam. So you had a full track differential there between the 2 jammers. You had an opportunity to be able to try and get in there and at least grab a few points before. If you're going to hit it and quit it, so to speak, on that last jam, go ahead and take that opportunity for points. Sarah Assassin really looked strong on that jam. In my thought process as a coach, I want to reward my jammer for really working their tail off on that one. Really like watching Sarah Assassin play. It's a nice, you know, power, but kind of a, it's kind of that slow hand style where it's like, there's a lot of strength in the style of play, but it's kind of low key. You know, you're not seeing a lot of this frenetic energy to do it. You're not seeing a lot of this, like, you know, over leveraging and just this kind of grinding out. It's just a quiet power, for lack of a better way of saying it. You know, my brain will think of it once I'm not on this mic, but hey, I'm on the mic right now, and it just shut itself down. So yeah, we are looking at 82-130. This is still a well, easy within reach game, you know, with a change of gameplay in there. And I know it feels scary to potentially surrender some points to the other team, but I mean, they had an opportunity there to claw out a few more. Like I said, there at the very end, an uncontested opportunity for points that was just, it was given up. Chose not to go for it, and it's like I said, it's those little things where you maybe have been able to get 3 or 4 more. Sarasasset could have popped through before Stitches was able to get around, and there you go. Now we have 86 instead of 82. It's just those little lost opportunities that you just can't get back. That clock goes away, and it's you can't get it back. And they have done a wonderful job here in the second half of getting that lead. They're just not doing anything really with it. So yeah, 14 jams, 9 leads, 9. But yet they're not really showing the points for it.
So Black is looking to get a track cut.
Okay.
12.
So we are looking at a track cut. So the Transformer United looking to get a track cut on Stitches on that last jam. So that could be a big game changer if they're able to win this one. So you start off with a power opportunity. And I'm serious. If they get the power opportunity to start here, they win this one. You have got to reward that and just go. I mean, go. You have the potential to, even if it's only giving up maybe 2 points or 4 points, at 16-4 would be so much better. I know it sounds weird that we gave up 4, but there's always that potential of a jammer trying to do a little too much when they come out of the box after getting tapped again on that. And so here we go. We got psyched out here. Nomad came over to speak to us and then kind of went away. I think we'll know whether it actually occurs because we'll see, of course, the jammer going into the penalty box. So if the penalty is assessed, they're in the penalty box. And as we stand, we do not see a jammer in the penalty box. So stands to reason, no call stands, and the review is lost. So not a terrible thing. They got 254, so a little over almost 3 potential team timeouts worth of chill and rest out of that. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. But here it is. Like I said, we started off. They've scored 22 points on 9 leads here in the second half. That's just not a worthy differential for that many leads, to get that many points out of this many leads. So here we go. We are separated the pack. This time now it is True taking the front. Holy smoked. That is an absolute battering ram from Hayden McGrath that came up in there. Of course, again, hey, that quick snap offense didn't make a difference because there it is. It really was just basically Pyromaniac just digging and working on that one to end up getting the lead as it was. And I'm sure the True blocker would have been like, yeah, I'd have been good if you just wouldn't have come up and hit me like that. Because, you got what you wanted, and that hit didn't really even matter in the long run. Other than, well, you hit me. So here we are. We are still stalled out here in this middle straightaway. So Higgs still trying to find some room to run. And there is no room right now. Ontario just, but now we've got the star pass coming. So singular they, them now running as the jammer of record. They, them just absolutely driving through, splitting the middle there between Redheaded for Trouble and Daisy Tripper. So I see a direction call. Not sure who that's going against. I guess that does appear to be the pivot for Ontario. So Ontario's pivot will be sitting in the box. Not that they've done a lot of star passes in this game. I think they've done basically just 2. Transrollers United have done it quite a bit more. We just had it in that last jam, as a matter of fact. Actually, these 2 skaters have done that trade-off now twice here in the second half. Our only 2 star passes thus far for Transrollers in period number 2. So that's 3 points going for Ontario. So 133 to 82 is where we sit with just under 12. Stow, sorry not sorry, out there on the track. Stow's been doing a good job of getting lean. Sorry not sorry. They've kind of traded off. So these 2 have been kind of going back and forth in this jammer rotation. Stow this time with the opportunity as lead. Let's see what they can do with this. Oh, just absolutely everything just got opened up on the inside there, courtesy of number 27, Solgood. Good to see Solgood back on the track. Of course, lost Solgood for a while to a contact that drew blood. So glad to see them back there able to play because you don't want to travel all this way and not get to play. I mean, Ontario knows not that far from here, but still, you took your time and your energy and your money to get here. So now Ontario looking to try and do something with it. And finally, we're seeing Trans Rollers United going for it. And I like this. I really like this right now because Styles good jammer. They've done really well on the scoring, when they've had the opportunities to get in there. Now looking for some help from Friends Beef, looking to try to, jam open a spot, but now turning around to go ahead and play the defense there. And turn number 4 coming back into the original straightaway. So, yep, there's Beef coming once again, trying to pull the actual lead block out. I don't want to say brace because, does really anybody need a brace? It's more kind of the lead block position. So, Style, got bogged down, and I'm fine with that. I like that. You take your lead, own it, do something with it. Yeah, 10-4, but that's 6 points in your favor now. Yeah, they got points, but you got 6 more. Would you have gotten 6 if you just, hit it and quit it? No. Would you have? No. So it's 11 now. So yeah, I think you just kind of have to do this, and you just, it's unfriendly feeling math. You don't like the way it feels that you're giving up points to get your points, but it's like the old active. You got to spend a little money to make a little money. Well, that's kind of how this is. This way is for this. Oh, impact play had just one more step to make, and I think they would have been able to establish themselves in it. So we have a no lead coming out for Valkyrie here at the front. Oh, no, that has been changed. The jam ref has now thrown up the hand saying you are the lead here. So lead is going for Ontario after that attempt by Impact to get through the inside. Valkyrie going ahead and calling it off. Oh, late into the pact was Impact, but it was only to their own skater. So while that's not good, at least it's not an opposing player, so there was not an issue there. Even though technically you can assess a penalty if you end up blowing up your own player a little too much, because it's just generalized dangerous play. So here we go. We're going to be coming back into this jam. Let's see who we're lining up. So Stevie Stitches. And, well, they're letting Impact go again on this one. So, yeah, I find that an interesting choice. I like that. Your top scorer, where are their legs? How are they? This is game number 2. We are in period number 2. Obviously well enough because they were able to get lead. So now we'll see what they do with the scoring opportunity because the defense is really tight right now. Helmet cover is off, looking to make the pass, trying to keep everybody away. Beef pushing the pack forward. Now Halloween having to engage in impact play as a blocker there, so it makes it harder to feed back and get that star pass. But oh wow, that was a weird kind of spin to the inside and actually kind of a little bit of a back contact to push them forward. So no harm, no foul kind of thing. Yeah, Stitch is looking, throwing up the hand, or like, we running this? Yes, we are. This is our lead. We're going to own it. I like this. I know it feels weird. I know it feels wrong a lot of times, but I like it. It's aggressive and it's assertive. And holy smokes, aggressive and assertive was Stevie Stitches. And there you go. You now have a penalty. You against your opposing jammer. You have lead. You have a power jam. This is where you can make the difference. So let's see if TRU can really get in here and make some effective offense. Ontario doing a good job of speeding away to avoid that offense. And man, big hit there coming from Solgood. Hey, took the penalty, but you know what? That's a useful penalty because you put impact play down on the ground, so that is clocked, that is getting ticked off, and that is in your favor as Ontario. So yeah, no, that was, I mean, good choices, I think, on both squads. Ontario stepped up and met the measure of that long jam, put the contact on. But yeah, see, I like that 12-4. You kind of, you're. I mean, yes, you're giving up points, but you are making up, more than double there now. So 107-45. So it's a little better. We are now under 40 points when we were at one point, had a stretch of over 50 there, and that wasn't getting changed by 1- and 3-point jams. But now we're starting to see it. So I'm really liking this choice. I kind of wish it would have come a little sooner for Trans Rollers United to make that choice of going, you know what, we're getting lead, we're doing good at it, let's own these leads and make them ours. So we have a timeout right now. Hopefully you've got a little time to stretch because we've got a little 7 minutes left to go. You may not even need your seat anymore because I feel like something is about to click. There's a potential here where we're going to start with power. We're going to have a power start here with Stitches standing in the box, 9 seconds left to go on the penalty. So, the real threat here is always, does TRU try to go full low and take their eyes off the opposing jammer, and then the jammer comes out of the pack? whoosh, gets that lead real quick. Because that happens. That happens a lot. If you watch this game, that happens a lot. Because our penalty box is right here at the jam start. So it's an easy in for the jammer coming out of the box and easy to attack the defense. It's one thing when you have those weird ones where they're like down at one end of the track or the other, and they have to come the long way to come back into play to come to that jam start. This is not the case here. We are right here, front and forward. They take a few steps, they are back out on the track. So the real knowledge here is I'm wondering, is TRU gonna leave, kind of a spy at the back, somebody to watch? Right now, they're kind of letting the offense go and let it do their own. So, yeah, they've already set up for just kind of a divide and conquer, and that is Stitches coming out of the box. Man, another one of those wild twirl steps. I am really nonplussed at how they're able to do that, but holy smokes. We have a high block going against Trans-Rollers United, so it's a power jam for Ontario. I'm actually a little surprised. I was kind of wondering if we were going to see, impact again on that one. So Higgs is now sitting in the box. Stitches is our jammer on the floor in the power jam for Ontario. It's like I said, it's the ebb and flow of this game. It's the little things. Stitches just keeping doing that spinorama out there. This time able to keep both feet on the track, so no having to go, 1 foot airborne to do it a little more basic, so to speak, if you want to say. Leveling coming up there at the front. I believe that was the Dictator just playing a game of shock and awe up front. So, yep, there it is. Stitches finds an easier path to the middle, not having to take the contact on this one now. So, here late in the game, that's great. Hands are on the hips, so, potentially starting to feel a little bit of the length of this day. I think we all are. I mean, heck, I'm just talking about Derby, and my brain is even starting to get a little frizzle fried here. Much less having to continue to think and apply, the physical capabilities of Derby athletes. Which, once again, in a day like this, if you have never had the benefit of coming to a tournament and seeing how long of a day, especially such a unique tournament where we have 20 games in this day, 20. It is definitely a stamina. It is definitely all about the stamina. So singular they, them is sitting in the box. They're our last note of record, so I guess I was kind of watching one side and missed the other side there. So obviously we had the Star Pass coming once again, so that has been the name of the game for singular they, them. Getting that Star Pass from Higgs' bosom. So power start here, the helmet cover going back on. I think what it is kind of an odd helmet cover for me. It's not a traditional star that you see. Something that always throws me a little bit when I'm looking out there and seeing it. But Pyromaniac taking a hard shoulder there at the front. Now getting recycled. So good job of buying time to get singular they, them back out of the box and now able to be re-engaged into gameplay. But once again, Pyromaniac trying to drive it out to the front, trying to find the space. Sarah Assassin now playing as a pivot. So, wow, we actually have jammers galore out here. Oh, and Sarah Assassin with that contact goes off. So now no longer can deploy the Star Pass opportunity here from singular they, them. Of course, like I said, we have another, skidder out there, style out there playing, also as a blocker. So there we go. Another opportunity for a power jam going for Pyromaniac. Does the spin through the center. So here we go. This is, like I said, this is now where we're kind of, playing it out. 3 minutes left to go. I kind of really liked where Trans-Rollers United were going there. I think they kind of came to that conclusion a little bit late. When they got there, it's like I said, it's, now is always a great time to do better. So yeah, that's what you always say. And, it's never a bad time to try and do better, but just got a little bit late on this opportunity for owning the leads. So here we go. It's Sarah Assassin back out of the box. Sarah Assassin. Oh, okay. No, I thought the penalty might have been going against Sarah Assassin because I saw the jam ref speaking and they were probably passing off a penalty. So Sarah Assassin now takes the star. And Ontario just went ahead and let that ride out for a little bit longer. So 10 points going for Ontario on that one with, the power opportunity. So 163, 107. So there it was. We were seeing that kind of claw back there by Trans Rollers United. Do you believe us heard whistles? Are we? That may have been from the track behind me. It might be errant on my part for where that whistle initiated, but we have skaters in the box right now for each respective team. So 3-3, we're going to start this jam. Impact play back out there. Valkyrie also in the mix. And we are just sludge walls. But hey, popping out is impact play. You know, that's one of the things I think I would have really have liked to see at that one point where we saw that issue with the star pass and the penalty that potentially take your time out there. Kill the clock. I know they have one left, but get impact play out there and see what you can do with that. Valkyrie, a tough one to go up against. So, you know, we'll see what happens here as we go on. Trans Rollers owning this lead. Valkyrie trying to take the inside, gets chipped back hard. See how far well, not quite as long of a drawback, but yeah, the pack started to separate, so you got to keep that integrity so you don't get it out of play and just make it an easy go for Valkyrie. Valkyrie hop there, looking to also play a little defense. Nope, and we're going to get the call off from impact play. So let's see what the final totals are on that one. Do we have a hand in the air? No. Well, I saw the flex of 4. So I guess that's where we're going to stand 8-4 on this one. So yeah, did get the point advantage, 115, 167. We are under a minute left to go in this one. So sitting on 2 timeouts in OR for Ontario, 1 timeout for Trans Rollers United. So yeah, we're going to back down to the point where we are not going to have an opportunity for any of those timeouts to be deployed. In theory, I mean, yes, I know things can change. Stow out there as the jammer. Finish this off for Trans Rollers United, potentially. Sorry, not sorry, out there representing Ontario. It's still a really great game. I mean, you know, 115, 167. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of separation. Ontario was able to maintain it here in the second half. But, I mean, it's still a great game. I mean, these defenses are really doing great things. So now we have a power jam for Stow. Power jam and, yes, lead. So they have full control here. No, you're not going to make all those point totals back up. But, hey, you know, you're going to have to play another game. It's nice to have that, you know, good feeling to end a game with. Ontario trying to run away from the potential offense. Oh, man, absolutely stick them on some of these blockers out here. Trying to catch that number. That was, do believe that was 1701. Yes, that was Pip, the captain. Just absolutely lining up Stow on the side of the hip. And we're losing the pivot off for TRU. So no star pass possible here. Not that you're going to do it anyway. You know, you've got lead. You know, yes, the points are coming hard. What's the point in passing it forward? That's just going to end up being no points potential anyway. So, I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to have that extra blocker out there at this juncture. But quite frankly, that 3 walls right there in the middle of Apex number 2, just both of them were just like, yep, we're just going to trap you here for a while. We're going to let this clock run all the way down for the jam clock. And, yeah, strong way to finish this out for both teams. Big applause, both squads, no doubt. No doubt. And finally, sorry, not sorry, able to get that star cap out of the back as we roll to zeros all around. Period clock, jam clock, it's all done. I think we're going to find out who our MVP is. You know, I have a hard time with that one. I really have enjoyed what I saw from everybody out here. I mean, jammers are obvious. They're fun to say because they're the flashy people out there. I am quite partial to blockers myself. Quite frankly, I saw a lot of great play from the Dictator out front and Halloween. I'm actually really impressed with Stow, kind of playing both ways as well. Sarah Assassin, I enjoyed. Definitely, you know, seeing some good play out of the blocking contingent for, you know, Trans Rollers United as well. I mean, Trixie Pixie was up there in the mix a lot of times. Kodo had an early go of really being a fearsome blocker, and so was Harry Jane.
What's your pick between Impact or Stevie?
Yeah, being asked a tough question of what we want to say on this, and like, man, I'm having a hard time on that one. So yeah, I think we're gonna go. We're trying to pick our. MVPs of the game. We get that up. We get that responsibility as our announcers here. So final score 119-167. Thank you for spending your time with me. Whoever I didn't